All right, so I'm going. Okay, so I had to. My stream got cut off, so I'm restarting. So I'm going to take 1 second and let the people who are still on the old live looking for me know that I'm not there anymore, and then we'll be able to get into our subject today, which is that country is too hard. That country you think you're moving to is too hard. I'm going to give you my opinion. Okay, you don't have to take that opinion and use it, but I hope that you'll at least listen. There's a big movement, I think, of Black women going to places that are just hard because they're beautiful and fun to visit. Some places are wonderful to visit, but man, I don't think you want to live there, especially not if what you're looking for is ease, right? Especially not if what you're looking for is some peace, is if what you're looking for is an upgrade in your life and your lifestyle. I think if you're looking for an upgrade in your life and an upgrade in your lifestyle, some of these places that we're really looking into, we can go to the old stream and let everyone know that I'm over here now. Continued here. Go to link to watch the rest of the video. I think one of the last times I was live, this actually happened. So I don't know what the problem is. Maybe time to switch off of Ecamm Live and switch over to something else. I don't know. But thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so hopefully everyone has found me. I went and left a link to this new stream in the description of the old stream. So, new link, link, colon, one more thing I need to do. Yeah, are you having problems? Okay, so okay, I'm gonna end this then. Rashida's got coaching and we're trying to live stream at the same time and it's just not working. So I'm gonna go ahead and just end this really quickly. But I just want you to know that, hold on, I can't, I'm sorry. I'm really trying to talk and type and I just can't. I cannot talk and type. Links, give me a second. One of the things that we talk a lot about internet speed. That has not really been a problem here in Morocco. I think it's just we're in a house that everything is open. Maybe I'll show you that real quickly before we end. We're in a house where everything is open and it's just not, the internet in some spots has been difficult. But overall, the internet speed has not been a problem here in Morocco. I'm in a Riyadh. Rashida, my mom, Rashida's mom, me, Francis, we stayed at the Exodus team, right? Team Exodus. We stayed in a beautiful Riyadh after the meet and greet, after we checked out of our hotel. We're in a beautiful place with a pool. And so I think the internet is just a problem with the design of the house, right? Some places you're just going to have a problem. So but we're in a beautiful place. Let's see. All right. Beautiful Riyadh. Oh, and maybe you see, there's my mom. Oh, Rashida. Okay. So let me go ahead and just leave you with some thoughts. When you go to visit a place and you're a tourist, if people aren't treating you well as a tourist, why would they treat you better if you live there? Okay? When you go to a place and you think it's awesome and things are very convenient, remember that you may not live in that tourist part of town. How convenient are things in the parts of town that you would actually live in? So look at the conveniences that you need in your everyday life. Do you want the struggle that people have? There are places that have like food deserts. How do you get to the store? How do you get to markets? Some things are built around tourist areas and not around residential areas. So that's another thing that you're going to want to consider. You're going to want to consider their path to residency. I'm going to speed through these, okay? Their path to residency. If it's a country that has not clearly stated, here's how foreigners can become residents in this country, then maybe they don't want foreigners becoming residents in that country. There are some Asian countries like Japan, right, that have made it clear they don't really want you. They don't care for you. The only time you see foreigners moving there is if they have worked there, not if they work for an international corporation there. Not like, I'm retired and I can afford to live anywhere and Japan welcomed me. right? Some countries are not going to welcome you in that way, are not going to welcome a foreigner in that way. The struggle of anti-blackness is not something that I like to prioritize when I'm looking at places. Anti-blackness is everywhere. Wherever you go, white people are going to be treated better, right? To me, that's anti-blackness, right? Even in Tanzania, right? Even at a hotel in Tanzania, the white people are going to be treated better than black people, right? But so I'm not really, anti-blackness is not the thing that I want you to put at the forefront of your mind when thinking about, is this place going to be a struggle? But is there a community of people here where I can, will I be able to make friends? You know, will I form community with people here? Locals and immigrants, locals and foreigners, locals and expats. Will this work for me? If it's not, if that's a place where people are openly hostile to you as a traveler, you don't want to live there, right? If they're hostile to you as a black person traveling there, you don't want to live there. You don't want to live in a place where you're always going to have to be on guard. For all that, you could just stay here. You don't want to live in a place where you're always going to be mistreated. Okay? You don't want that. Colorism, thank you for that. Yeah. So you want to, when you're visiting a place, it's nice to visit a place and look at the good. But the things that are negatives, remember that they're only going to be expounded, or they're only going to be exponentially harder when you live there. Transportation issues also, which we haven't talked about. If you're not going to have to, now transportation is a little bit of a different issue because you're probably going to do less going when you live in a place than when you're visiting. When you're visiting, you tend to rip and run. When you live in a place, especially if you're like me, you're not going to do as much, but you still need to know that you can get around and it's a place where you want to get around and you're okay with the struggle that comes with that place's transportation system. Different places have different struggles. In some places, it's just congestion and traffic. In some places, it's a lack of infrastructure. In Costa Rica, it's like both, right? In San Jose, Costa Rica, there's a lack of infrastructure and congestion and traffic. Is that a place that, when you compare Costa Rica to Mexico, when you compare San Jose, Costa Rica to Mexico City, right? Is the struggle of getting around Costa Rica worth the, is there a payoff in the end, right? So it's these are, I know I'm rushing. I'm trying to rush through like an hour and a half of things, but these are the things that we want to take a look at. When you're going to visit a place, you really want to see what life would be like. If you're doing a scouting trip, you want to take your time there and see what. Remember that you're there to scout it out to live, not to visit. Okay. Yeah. Anissa, I definitely could not live in Marrakesh. Had fun though. Yes, you did have fun. Your pictures are beautiful. Yeah, so for me, the issue with Marrakesh, which is issues that I already knew, right? One of the reasons that we did a group trip here and I didn't visit here alone is that I knew it was going to be a little annoying and a little, that I knew that there were going to be problems, right? But they were problems that some of them were alleviated by not being here as a solo traveler. Some places are harder for solo travelers. Morocco has that reputation. So we came here as a group, and women, I didn't hear reports of women saying, like, oh, right, I went to the market and people were aggressive with me, right, any more than you would already expect. Because we're in a group and we had tour guides, and they made things easier. But if you have to do that kind of prep work just to visit a place, you probably don't want to live here. You probably don't want to live here. Okay, so how did we do? Let's see. Now that Rashida seems to be okay with internet, how am I doing? Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, this is a beautiful riad. The 4 bedrooms is 4 bedrooms. We stayed here alone, so there's no other people here. We have a wonderful housekeeper who's taken good care of us. We've had the best hospitality I've had in quite a long time in this particular Airbnb. That's including the hotel that we paid a lot of money to stay in for the meetup set part of our trip to Morocco. Very, very little hospitality in that hotel. compared to where we are in this Riyadh with our housekeeper and our beautiful home and, everything we need. It's been wonderful. I don't know. Rashida seems to be okay, but she's now in the kitchen. She's moved from the dining room into the kitchen to coach. And so we'll see. If I disappear one more time, I'm not coming back. I'll tell you, if I disappear again, I'm not going to come back. I'm just going to stay gone so that she doesn't have any struggles. Okay. All right. Okay. So what do y'all think about what I said? I said a lot of things and I jumped around and I didn't do it in order, but what do you think about what I said? So there are places that I got to meet some of the women who are in accountability groups from previous Exodus summits. And from, I think, the very first Exodus summit, which happened in 2020, women got together and joined a Ghana accountability group, women who wanted to move to Ghana. I talked to some women in that group. The younger women are still in that group. They're still planning to move to Ghana. The older women have decided it's not easy, right? Ghana's not in Mexico. Ghana's not Portugal. Ghana's not France, right? It's not easy. And they've decided Ghana is not the choice for them. A lot of the younger women have stuck with Ghana so far, it seems like, from talking to the women from the meetup group. But a lot of the older women have decided it's not for them. There's too much struggle. There's too much lack of ease in moving to that place, right? In moving to that particular country and the cities and towns that they were looking at. If you're thinking about building a home somewhere, I don't know that there's any place that's easy. Right, for some reason, Africa attracts a lot of people who think that they want to go someplace and build a home. I don't know that that's easy anywhere. That's a struggle anywhere. That's signing yourself up for struggle, for theft, right? In Mexico, I house sat for a couple who built a house in Mexico, and basically every night, all of their building supplies were stolen until they hired a guard to stand guard overnight, right? Like every night, she said, every night anytime we would leave anything out, next day stolen, right? So finally they wised up, or they decided to get a guard. I don't know that building a home, and Mexico is a place where I leave my computer when I'm in a coffee shop. I'll leave my computer, my laptop on the table and go to the bathroom, right? Right? It's a place where people, I don't think stealing is the first impulse, but if you make it easy enough, people will steal from you anywhere. So I don't know that building a house anywhere is ever going to be a good choice if what you're looking for is ease. I don't think building, and for some reason, people want to move to Africa and build a house or build a this, build a that, signing up for struggle, right? You're signing up for a struggle, what is the word? People cheating you, people telling you they own the land and selling you the land, and then you find out they didn't own it in the first place, right? Anytime you're signing up to build a house, you're giving yourself struggle and stress and strain. Yeah. Adelia, unless you have an unlimited budget, building a house is a pain in the ass. Ask me how I know. Right? So I don't know that there's anywhere that I would be like, oh yeah, go there and build on some property, buy some property and build something. Okay. Now that being said, there are places where you can move in and just get started with your life. And there are places where you can't. We haven't yet talked about banking. There are places where banking works as easily and as simply as it does in the US, and there are places where it doesn't. I will never forget Halana telling us that in Rwanda, she spends a full work day or two out of every month banking. Right? Banks don't work like you expect them to work, right? And so you don't enjoy the thing, right? You don't enjoy the place because simple things that should take up very little time just take up so much time, give you so much frustration, cost you so much. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So what do you think? I asked you, what do you think about what I said? Maxine, some countries offer more hardship than others. However, for educated Black women with degrees can experience economic freedom. If you have the money to live somewhere, anywhere, or somewhere, if you have the money to live somewhere, you should still pick a place that is easier. I think, right? There are people who really do sign up for struggle, right? And I'm here to stop that. That's the whole point, right? Yes, you could probably go anywhere if you have the money to live anywhere. But why pick a place where it's always going to be a struggle? Why pick a place where your opinion is never going to matter, like in Morocco, right? Trying to do business in Morocco as a woman was the pits. Trying to do business as a tourist woman, as a woman who's a tourist. I can't imagine living here and trying to do anything, right, as a woman, having any say in anything. Even the tour operator, right? Just the tour operators were not listening to our opinions, and we're paying them to listen to our opinions and to provide what we want. So I don't know, Maxine. I don't agree. I don't think that anywhere is, yeah, you didn't say that. I'm misreading. You didn't say anywhere, but I don't think that anywhere is a good choice for anyone, right? We need to know what we want, and if what we want is peace, take some places off your list. Take some places off your list. Yes, so Carol, we're not talking about traveling to a place though. Carol says Japan can be great for Black travelers, especially if you speak some Japanese. We're not talking about traveling to a place though. It's one thing to travel to Japan. I traveled to Japan and nobody stared at me, which is a big deal because people stare at me, right? Nobody stared at me. I got on the train. Trains run really smoothly. The infrastructure is amazing. Japan is in the future, right? Japan is in the future. Um, but will you ever feel integrated into the community? Will you ever be a person who is welcome there and loved there and treated with respect? Will you ever have a circle of people around you in Japan as a Black woman? I haven't seen it. Okay, I haven't seen it. There are people there who have other Black friends, right? Friends who are from other countries. But I haven't seen Japan is not even a welcoming place for their own biracial people, right? Yeah, HB, true. Same thing happens in Jamaica when you build a house, right? I don't know that building a house is going to be a good choice for anybody anywhere. But if you want to do it, be prepared. Okay, just be prepared. All right, land scams, awful. Yeah, right. You're awful labor. Yeah, you're in for a world of struggle and stress when that's your choice. All right, I'm going backwards. A lot of people, Truth Serum says, who thinks that's a good idea? A lot of people, a lot of people who are moving to Ghana, who are moving to Senegal, moving to, right? That's the thing for some reason. I don't know where this came from, but that's the thing. I'm going to move there. I'm going to buy some land. I'm going to build a house, or I'm going to build a this or build a that. Man, not taking the easy route. It's okay to do things the easy way. All right, so another question, or another point, Ms. Robinson says, access to healthcare and first responder system made Ghana a deal breaker for me as an emerging senior. Emerging senior, okay, I like it. Yes, right, this is another thing we need to take into consideration. Just because a place has good healthcare doesn't mean they have a good system for you to get into, like a ambulance, right? Hospital may be amazing, but how you gonna get to the hospital? I talked to a woman who was moving to Belize, right? She was moving to Belize until she realized she would have to take a ferry to the place from the place that she was moving to. She'd have to take a ferry to get to the hospital or to get to health care, and that just didn't work for her, right? If there's bad weather, you're not getting to the hospital. If that ferry can't operate, you're not getting to the hospital, right? We have to know what things are going to create unnecessary struggle for us. Sometimes it's hard to predict. We just have to listen to other people's experiences and decide, is this worth it or not, right? Some struggle may be worth it. For me, the traffic and lack of transportation is in Costa Rica, and having to rely on Uber or get my own car, which I'm not going to do, right, is worth that struggle because of what Costa Rica gives me or will give me, but it's not going to be worth that struggle for years and years, right? I'm talking about moving to Costa Rica for 3 or 4 years. I don't want to spend my senior years, right? My late 50s, my 50s as a senior, but my 70s and 80s in a place like that, right? I don't want to deal with that. I can deal with it for 2, 3, 4 years. I don't want to deal with it for 20, 30, 40 years, right? Let's see. Nubianette. I could live in Denmark, especially Copenhagen, because I'm treated like a local there. Okay. I'm always approached with Danish. Okay. But it's too expensive for my money. Okay. Yes. Places it's no secret that some of the places that I've loved are places where they don't point at me and they're not like, you're not from here. You're not one of us. Portugal was one of those places where people just spoke Portuguese to me, expecting me to speak Portuguese. I'm not saying that there's no racism and classism in Portugal. What I'm saying is it's a place where people thought I was one of them and weren't automatically looking at me as a dollar sign, like in some other places. Until I started speaking English with my American accent, right? It's a place where I would learn the language in order to be integrated into society, into the community. I would want to learn the language. So another struggle we didn't talk about is the struggle of learning the language. Is this a country where you're going to be able to learn the language or no? Any language is learnable, right? Any language is learnable. But is it a country where you're going to want to put in the effort to learn the language? For me, I draw the line at the alphabet being recognized. Are they using the same alphabet that I understand or a similar alphabet, right? The letters in Spanish make sense to me. I understand them. So to me, I'm like, I think I could, if I needed to, I can learn Spanish, I can learn French, I can learn Dutch, I can learn Portuguese, I can learn Bahasa Malaysia or Bahasa Indonesia, right? I understand the letters. You tell me what sounds the letters make. I can learn that language. I can live there and function in that society. I don't want to have to learn a language like Vietnamese. I would never. I don't think I would ever. As much as I enjoyed Vietnam, right? Thai, it looks beautiful, right? The Thai language, it looks beautiful. It's very curly, very ornate. I would never be able to read and write. I would be illiterate no matter how many words I could learn in Thai. I would stay illiterate. And that would be too much of a struggle for me, right? Too much of a struggle. Spanish speaking countries are wonderful in that regard for English speakers, for native English speakers, right? We want to pick a place where we can ingrain ourselves in that community, and that includes speaking the language. That includes speaking the language. Okay? If you go to a place and people help you because they recognize that you're not a local, it's so I said earlier that not standing out was nice in Portugal, but it's also nice to be in a place where I'm recognized as not a local, but still people stop and help, right? Without any regard or without any expectation that I can reciprocate in any way. That's a Mexican thing. It's a Mexico thing, right? I will walk in Mexico with my map out doing like this. I want you to know I'm lost. In Mexico, I want you to know I'm lost. I got my map out. I'm doing all this and all that because I know people in Mexico are going to help me if I need help. And that's that on that. Here in Morocco, they'll help you for some money, right? The other day, the man said, I'll help you. And I expect you to come back. When you come back, I expect you to go to my rug shop and spend some money. That's what he said, right? Come back, go to my rug shop. I need to see your money. Here in Morocco, they'll help you if it helps them, if it benefits them. So just because you're in a place where you're going to stand out always as not a local, which I will in Mexico, right? Just because you're always going to stand out as not a local doesn't necessarily mean that that's a bad thing. But how are you treated? Are you ever going to be treated well? Okay. Okay. Yeah, Kimberly says you really need to understand your own needs and wants. I've been in South Korea for 8 years and absolutely love it. Some people absolutely hate it. It's hard to know what you value, what you need, what you want until you get to a place and spend some time, right? I'm aware of that. Some of the things that seem like deal breakers to you today will be no big deal to you tomorrow, right? The people ask me a lot about flushing the toilet paper in some parts of the world. The plumbing systems are not equipped to handle toilet paper. You don't flush your toilet paper in the toilet. You wrap it up real good, put it in a trash can, and take that little tiny trash bag outside and throw it outside, right? For some people, that will be a deal breaker the first few months. After a while, it's not a big deal, and then they've cut off an entire option, right, based on something that's no longer important to them. They no longer care about the toilet paper situation. Some things, so be prepared for your needs and wants to change, but you have to start somewhere. You do have to start with some list, some idea of what you want and what you don't want. The sanctuary, anybody living in El Salvador, what's the feeling, satisfaction with El Salvador? I did not live in El Salvador. I only visited El Salvador for 3.5 weeks, almost a full month. I thought it was nice. I thought it was more convenient, easier to get around than in Costa Rica. Food was better than in Costa Rica. People were just as nice as in Costa Rica. In Costa Rica, people are good to me, and same in El Salvador, my little bit of experience. But I don't know of anyone who's living there now. I don't know what their, so talking about hardships, I don't know what their welcome process is. I don't know what the entry process is for people who want residency. It may be just as easy to get residency there as it is in Costa Rica. I don't want to use the word easy, but like straightforward. It may be just as straightforward in El Salvador as it is in Costa Rica. So this is a good way to determine how, I think it's a helpful way to determine how how people are going to treat you. Is, do they have a pathway for you to get residency there? Not citizenship. Residency and citizenship are two different things. Most of us don't need citizenship in another country. Unless you have access to it, then get it, right? But it's not a process that you need to worry about. But residency, is this a country that seems welcoming? I talked to a woman just the other day who wanted residency in Singapore. I'm like, that's not a welcoming place. That's not a place where you can just get residency. That's not Mexico. It's not, Malaysia used to be a welcoming place. Things have changed. It's not Portugal. It's not, right? Yeah, okay. Sashana, I think in East Asia, you will never be accepted as anything other than foreign. I think that if you're going to a country in East Asia, you need to be prepared to build your own community from other immigrants, from other expats, from other people who have moved there. I don't know if you're ever going to, I don't know, right? Except for the Philippines, I'll say. The Philippines is not a place I would recommend moving to. Hardships. Coffee's terrible. Terrible coffee to me counts as a hardship. When I was there, the internet was painfully slow, which was 2015 and 2016. Internet was painfully slow in the Philippines, but people were wonderful, right? But it's a place where I think you could be accepted in. You could have a friend group of all Filipino people. I think. I think. But does that count as East Asia? Well, Southeast Asia. It counts. Okay. There may be some exceptions, but for the most part, I totally agree with Sashana. And you're going to need to know that you're okay with just building your community of people from people who have moved there. All right. What do you think about Black experience? I love YouTube. I love YouTube, but I don't care too much to hear men's opinions on things because they're not helpful to me. So that's my answer. I don't watch too many YouTubers who are men YouTubers. Different experience. We have a different experience. It's not helpful to me. It's not helpful to me as a Black woman to hear what a Black man's experience is in a different place. Right? We're not treated the same. All right. Yeah, I know. So that's why, like, just because you don't know, Sashana's like, there's a whole niche community on YouTube of people talking about buying property throughout Africa. It's become a thing. I don't know why. People, I don't know. People think that it's going to be so much cheaper and so much easier, and you're signing yourself up for struggle. Yeah, just because somebody here hasn't heard that that's a thing, doesn't mean it's not a thing. It's a thing. Uh, and if I can do anything for Black women, it would be to convince you that you don't need to go somewhere and build a house. You may not even need to buy a house somewhere, right? Free yourself from that. That's the American thing. In the United States, for Black people, the home was the only way to build some sort of wealth or get some money, right? Your home for the longest time. And not even the longest time, because even, it wasn't until recently that we could even get mortgages. But in the United States, buying a home is the pathway to financial independence in the future. And so we've just clung on to it as the only way. It's not the only way. There are lots of other investments that can be made. There are lots of other ways that your money can make money that are not buying a house or building a house. Okay, lots of other ways that your money can make money that don't involve the the bureaucracy, the potential scamming, the problems that come with home ownership, right? Rashida always says she's not buying a home in Mexico City. There's earthquakes there, right? I'm not buying a home here. Okay? So, yeah, if I can do anything on this channel, all I want to do is stop Black women from trying to go to Africa to buy property. I promise you, that's all I want. Do something easy. You don't have to be the person who does the struggle thing. You can be the person who takes the easiest way. Get you a condo on the beach in Mexico. Do the easiest thing. Enjoy the easiest path, the most relaxed way. Do that. Stop being the person who does the struggle. Farmers, we need farmers. We need farmers to live. We need food to live. But it don't have to be you. You don't have to go somewhere and start a farm, dedicate your entire life to that farm. I love Black women farmers. We could use more Black women farmers, but it don't have to be you. It's not going to be me, and it don't have to be you. All right? Okay. I see some thumbs up. Okay. All right. So I think we've settled in, and it's okay. I'm going to stop trying to rush through things. So I know I've bopped all over this conversation, but I think we can settle into it. Greta, I owned a home, overrated. Ain't it? Ain't it? Overrated. Right? Do something easy. Do it. It'll change your life. You'll never want to go back. You can unlearn. Just like you have learned that you're supposed to be the person who does the hard thing and struggles, right? You've learned that. You can unlearn it. You can unlearn it. I've seen people unlearn it. Okay, let's see. Anita says more problems. I'm gonna get on YouTube and see. If I disappear, y'all, I'm not coming back. Okay, so have a wonderful have a wonderful weekend. Let me try it. Let me check it out and see. Uh-uh. I think I'm okay. I think we're still here. I think we're still here. Okay. I think we're still here. Okay. And Watson, I agree. I desire ease. I'm looking to move to a Spanish speaking country to strengthen my language skills and teach English or do counseling. Good. Okay. Yeah. It's okay to pick the easiest place to go to and go there and thrive. You can visit the hard places. Visit the hard places. You can come back to Morocco. You can go visit Rwanda. Okay. But it's okay to live in the Caribbean. It's okay to live in the Caribbean, right? Where, things just work easier for you. What you need is already in existence. You don't have to try to create it, right? A lot of women move to African countries, Black women from the US and the UK, Canada, right? Move to African countries and then they feel like, oh, I got to start this, I got to run that, I got to create this. Go to a country where things just already done, already working for you, easy, right? Go to a place where things are just easier, I think, right? I think, okay? You can contribute to people who are doing things the hard way if you want. Give them some money, do some volunteer work there every now and then, but you don't have to be the person leading the hard charge, okay? I hope that's why this channel exists, okay? Yeah, yeah, you can unlearn that. Yeah, I don't agree with you. As a person who's not struggled in my life, don't I seem spiritually substantive? I disagree with you. I feel like I am a spiritually substantial person without struggle. I disagree. I disagree. Yeah, I don't think so. Okay? If this is a thing that you're into, Echo G, I want to homestead. I want a homestead. If this is what you're into, be into it, okay? But be into it because it's what you want. Be into it because it's what you enjoy. Be into it because it brings you peace, right? If you find yourself struggling and frustrating, are you really into it? This is not talking to you, Echo G. I believe you, okay? What I'm saying is there are people who think they're into these things just because they're addicted to the struggle. They're addicted to doing things the hardest way, right? If you're into it, homesteading is wonderful. It seems like it could be very peaceful and relaxing to people who are into it, right? But that's not everyone, and not most of us. Okay. Okay. Thanks, friends. Thank you. Okay. I thought I was buffering, but we're still here. But I'm so serious. If it happens again, I'm not going to come back. Okay. We're not going to keep doing that. As you know, I'm not into struggle. Lizzie, we can think easy and self-sustaining. We can think easy and I know. So easy is a four-letter word, and Black people are so afraid of the word easy and lazy and all of that. You're afraid of it. That's a you thing. If when I say easy, you get a negative feeling in your body, that's on you. Fix it. Things are supposed to be easy. Okay? Things are supposed to be easy. If easy is a difficult word for you to hear, just like you know how there are people when you start talking about money, they get really nervous that right? Let's not talk about money. Move on, right? There's no shame in money and there's no shame in talking about money, right? If you feel like that, that's a problem you need to fix. I think the same thing with easy. If you start when you hear the word easy, you have there's a negative connotation for easy for you. Fix that. That's a you problem. I'm so serious. It's not easy. The problem isn't easy. The problem is your opinion of easy. Something that you've been taught over and over. It's not your fault you were taught that. That's how Black people are raised in the United States, right? I was taught the same things, or people tried to teach me the same thing. Didn't take. But people have tried to teach me the same thing. You can fix that. You don't have to always think that easy is wrong. And if you do, you're not living to the fullest potential because some things that could come to you easily, you're going to reject them. You're going to reject some of these things that could just come to you so easily, right? But you reject it because you think easy is negative. Ain't negative. Somebody said it was. You believed it was. It's not. I know that. I know that. I don't know a whole lot, but I know that. Edith, thank you. I've not had a life of struggle, right? I don't think we, I don't think, yeah, I don't think we need it. And whether you have or you haven't, that can be the end of the life of struggle. Wherever you are, whether you have struggled or haven't struggled, you can just put down the little marker. This marks the end of my struggle period. This marks the end of it. Now show me what's easy. What just flows to me. I'm worthy of all good things. You are worthy of all good things. I don't have to struggle to get what comes to other people easily. Some things are coming to other people so easily. And when you say, oh, you have to struggle to build character, you're saying you're not worthy of those things. You're less worthy than those other people. I'm not. I'm not less worthy than other people. You want me to think that I'm less worthy than other people? Why would you want that for me? Why would I want that for you? I don't. You don't. Okay? Okay. All right. Aileen, struggle doesn't look good on me anymore. No more. No more. If it never did, but no more. No more. Yeah. So listen, I know that there are people who hear these conversations and they're like, oh, that's not how life is supposed to be. I hope you unlearn that before it's too late. I hope you unlearn that before your last day. I hope you get a easy period in your life. And I hope that easy period is decades long. Mine will be. It already has been, I guess, but it will continue to be decades long. Quinn Edwards, I love this discussion. As a Black woman, why is it required that I struggle? Good question, Quinn. No thanks. I'll take the easy any day of the week. That's right. It's I know, right? That is just the mentality, right? That pack mule mentality, the mentality that black women are the workhorses, the pack mules. We really have taken that in, internalized that belief. But white women are not living. White women. There's nobody on a white woman's video right now saying we grow through struggle. Find it, find it. There's nobody on a white woman's video right now saying, "Oh, don't do easy. Don't do things the easy way. We only grow through struggle." Can you imagine? Can you imagine, like Mel Robbins? Who are some big white women on YouTube? Can you imagine somebody saying on Mel Robbins' video, "No, Mel, we can't do things easier." Mel Robbins is a life coach, I guess you would call her, but she's, got a huge following. And not only a YouTuber, she's an author and a speaker, right? Can you imagine a white woman saying to another white woman, "No, Mel, stop trying to make things easier for us. Stop." Mel teaches techniques to help you overcome, like, self-sabotage. Can you imagine somebody saying, "No, Mel, we don't want to learn these techniques. We only grow through struggle." And Mel being like, "You're right, girl." You can't imagine white women saying that. You cannot imagine. You cannot imagine white women saying, "We have to struggle. We can't do easy. We grow through struggle." That's anti-blackness. That belief that I'm supposed to struggle because I look like this, anti-black. Anti-black. Unlearn it. Unlearn it. Unlearn it. I got more upset as I thought about it. I'm getting more upset now that I think about it. Unlearn it. I was in the swimming pool today and then I washed and conditioned my hair. My eyes are really watery. So that's why I keep wiping my eyes. Every time I wash and condition my hair, it takes hours for my eyes to recover. All right. And then we got in the pool to take some photos. So all of that, my eyes. Okay. Yeah. You can't. I don't care what you say. You cannot imagine that conversation on a white woman's channel. So why us? Why here? Why is that a conversation for here? Danny. Hi, Danny. Danny went no contact. Easy is so scary at first. I can imagine it would be, right? I can imagine it would be. All you need is one little feedback, one little piece of feedback where you see, "Oh, I did things an easier way and it actually worked out for me," right? So Danny's YouTube channel, Danny Ellison went no contact, is about going no contact with a narcissistic mother, adult children of narcissistic mothers, adult daughters of narcissistic mothers, ending contact with that narcissistic parent, right? Which to me is a different type of ease. It's not easy to do. I'm not saying what Danny teaches is easy to do, but it welcomes in a new ease in your life. Not having to have that struggle conversation, not having to have those feelings over and over again about that parent, right? Doing a difficult thing, right? To embrace ease for yourself in the long term, right? And I know I can imagine that's super scary. And Danny walks people through that thing, and I know it's super scary. But it is an ease, it is an embracing of ease for future you. So yes to doing things when we're afraid to do them, right? Just because I'm saying do things that are easy, right, doesn't mean I'm saying do things that you're not going to be afraid to do them. Fear is totally unrelated to this conversation. Fear and ease, you know, fear is in everything that we do that's new. Any new thing is scary, and we're afraid of it. And there is real fear. Fear is real. I'm not a fear is not real kind of person. Fear is real. It's a real thing. We have to develop systems to prepare for and overcome the fear. Not overcome, prepare for and work alongside the fear. I think we work alongside fear and it just kind of shrinks as we go. It gets further and further away from us. And then we do a new thing and it's right up in our face again. But we've developed a system to deal with that fear. We expect the fear to come. We operate within the fear, or we operate with the fear right beside us. And then eventually we gain progress and the fear loses progress. Easy is scary at first. So I can imagine for somebody who's used to doing things the hard way, it seems like couldn't possibly work. Okay, try it and see. Try it and see. Yeah, Kendra. Bill Gates says he loves lazy employees because they find creative ways to do hard things. You've all seen someone do something, you're like, ah. I've been doing this thing the hard way. This lazy person found an easier way to do this thing. That's true. There is some creativity that is born out of, I'm not doing that thing. I'm not struggling through that thing. I'm not doing it. Moving to another country as a black woman is a creative way to get out of being a black woman in America. It's an easy button, right? If you get sick and tired of microaggressions at work, or just some of y'all, so I did that burnout video or that toxic workplace video with Dr. Kimani, and it surprised me how many women are just in actual hostile work environments. That's not microaggressions. I'm like, child, these are not microaggressions. That is active hostility and active toxicity. How many of y'all are in toxic work environments when, you know what? You got the money, quit the job, live somewhere else, rent you a condo on the beach and live somewhere and be easy. Find a creative solution. Find the easy, creative solution. Okay, how are we doing? Okay. Love Passion LV. Hi, what is the best place in Mexico and safe? I would look at Rashida Dow, who is Sheeta's on the Loose, Rashida Dow's YouTube channel, and these are two women from the Black women from the United States who live in Mexico. Rashida Dow and Picky Girl Travels the World, who is Adalia Aborshade. Adalia was here in the chat earlier. Picky Girl. Okay, they live in Mexico, and they have traveled extensively in Mexico, and they have interviewed quite a few black women who live in Mexico about different towns, cities, states in the country. There's some places where once you visit that place and live in that place, you're like, how did I make it in the United States? Where I live is very scary. How did I survive St. Louis? Once you get to that safe place where you just feel like you're safe and free in Mexico, you're going to question why it took you so long, okay? But they're the channels to go to for that information. I've interviewed quite a few women in different parts of Mexico, including Adalia and Rashida, but they have better Mexico info. If you're really, really interested in Mexico, which I think most black women should be, right? Unless you need to ski every day of the year, I think Mexico is probably going to be a great choice for you. Seriously, seriously, okay? These are the channels that you'll want to study. I'm not from St. Louis. I'm from exotic Delaware. I'm from Delaware. But St. Louis, I've been asked multiple times, oh, how is it safe? Is it safe in whatever place? And then I ask her where she's from, and she says St. Louis. And I'm like, girl, if you can survive St. Louis, you can survive anywhere. Okay? Safety is not even a concern for you. No, I'm not from St. Louis. I just met a woman in El Salvador. We were in an Airbnb, like condo, and we were sitting in the lobby beside each other. And she said, I had just ordered food. I was waiting on my food delivery. And she said she hadn't eaten yet. And part of me said, I should go with her to eat, maybe make a friend. But I'm also a hermit, and I was really looking forward to eating my food in my house, in my room. So I just was like, I ate at this restaurant yesterday, and I pointed her in the direction, and she said, "You walked to a restaurant last night for dinner, like sunset time, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's safe here. You can do it." And I said, "Yeah, it's okay." And then I said, "Where are you from?" And she said, "St. Louis." I'm not kidding. She said St. Louis. And I was like, girl, please go. Bye. Go. I did tell her, you can Uber back if you need to Uber back. If by the time it's time to come back, it's dark, you can Uber back if you want to. $4 or maybe $3 or something like that. But I'm like, child, I even told her, I was like, St. Louis is always the example I give to people when I'm trying to explain safety in other countries, right? There's no place you're going to visit. No place you want to visit that is more dangerous than the place you already live. Right? There are more dangerous places in the world, but you don't want to visit those places, right? There are active war zones, but you don't want to visit the active war zones. We're talking about going to the beach in Mexico, right? We're talking about, Paris. Or now, maybe I don't know if Paris is safe today, but I don't, whatever. So she's like, okay. So she went, and I texted her. I WhatsApped her, and she was like, yeah, I went to the restaurant. Okay. So I feel like I got off track. Right? I don't know of a place that you want to go visit that is any more dangerous than St. Louis. If you can survive St. Louis, you're good. You're good, right? Good. Okay. Yes, I can't wait to be looking back saying, how the hell did I tolerate that? It happens to every single person who moves abroad for any period of time. It's like, man. And when it really becomes evident is when you have to prepare yourself to return to the U.S., right? When you got to gear up. I'm flying back to the U.S. Got to get my armor, right? I got to get my protections up. I got to get back into that mind frame. Got to get prepared for these people, right? You're like, man, I spent all these months, however long I was here, not thinking about this, not thinking about that. Now I got to prepare for it all over again. It happens to all of us who spend significant time out of the U.S. Right? If you can make, I'm telling, that's what I meant. I may have misspoken, Luana, but if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Nick Jones, my skin has to get used to the dry heat in Mexico. Okay, you can get used. You can do some things, right? You can do some things. Even here, I'm always dry anyway. But my lips have been white here in Morocco. Oh, right. I got to do some extra things, take some extra steps for that. Yeah. Okay. How are we doing? How are we doing? Is it wrong? Hi, pray, travel, eat, repeat. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good morning. Is it wrong that I have an easy life in Merida, Mexico, but I want Black culture and the English language? People think I'm crazy for wanting to leave Merida, which is great. No, I don't think that's crazy. It's nice to have an easy life and still be like, I want something a little more. I'm never going to talk you out of wanting more for yourself, right? I always tell people, I want everything I want, right? People always say you can't have it all. Nobody has it all at one time. You don't have it all at one time. But it's okay to want everything you want, right? Maybe that's possible. I'm telling you, the Caribbean is underutilized in this space. The Caribbean is underutilized. It was so nice to spend the winter in Curacao and be with Black people. Now that's not English language, right? There's Dutch, there's Spanish, there's papamiento, right? Uh, I don't think it's wrong. I think you can get, if you feel like you can get closer to everything that you want, maybe you can get closer. Maybe not everything, but maybe a lot closer than you are now. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, I've gotten things really pretty easy here, and I still want a little easier. I still want it a little easier. I think that's okay. All right? Keep on searching. Or at least do some more, maybe planning longer trips to places where these things exist be helpful, right? Long time, even if you don't want to move to the Caribbean, would spending a lot more time in the Caribbean be useful, helpful, beneficial? I don't know the answer. I'm just asking you a question. Yeah. No, Sashana, I don't think the average American realizes how much safer most of the world is compared to America right now. No, we don't. We don't. That's why we talk. That's why we do these things. We share these videos. That's why we share, because we don't know, especially Black people. I don't think we know. what we're missing with the rest of the world. I don't think we know. Yeah, and Watson, I feel safer, safety-wise, I feel better in other countries than in Florida. Absolutely. Yeah, very true. Shauna said, I can't believe my dad would drop us off at the St. Louis Metro station and say, have a good day. Were y'all going to visit family or what? Like, y'all just bopping around the city? Yeah, we're flying back to the US Monday, and I'm not looking forward to it. Yeah, there's a gearing up that has to happen, right? Francis left today. Uh, my mom and I leave tomorrow. There's a prep, right? A re-entry process that happens for Black people when we go back. As much as Morocco has been difficult for me, like vacation difficult, right? When I fly into San Diego, I'm gonna have to be prepared for all of that. All that, right? Okay. Luana says, I never felt as free as when I lived in Italy. Yeah, so we're going to use these to our advantage. If we have an opportunity to experience life in another country where we are physically safer, and where as Black people we are also like, I don't want to say emotionally safer, but like maybe emotionally or like, yeah, more cared for, at least more cared for than we are in the United States. I hope we all get to experience it, and for as long as we feel like it. Yeah, okay. So Shauna has to move back to the US in October, and I'm dreading it, trying to figure out a way not to. I hope you can figure out a way not to, Shoshana. I hope you can, right? I hope you can figure out a different way. Yeah. Aria D, I'm gearing up for a visit back to the US the end of the summer, and it's hurting my soul. I hope it's a visit. You can do it. You can make it. It's a visit. It's a visit. Okay? Yeah, Natasha says she's going through that after 2 weeks. This Natasha? Is this Natasha from the meetup? Going through that now after just being gone for 2 weeks. Yeah, right? It's real. I'm not making that up. It's a real thing that we all go through every time. Everybody who spends significant time out of the US, whether it's because they're a nomad, they live like a digital nomad, or they've moved abroad, or they house sit like me, right? We go through that every time. Um, it's a part of it, right? It's a part of it. Yeah. Okay. I know this has been a really disorganized video, but I hope that there has been some help in there. I hope there's been some help. Again, the message that I just want to make sure that you understand is that you don't have to move to the countries. If you're thinking about moving to a place and still doing some struggle activity, right? Putting up with some sort of struggle activity, I hope you'll find change your mind and find a place where things can be easy and things can just work, right? I have a MacBook. I have a MacBook. I have an iPhone and a MacBook. And I've had iPads before, right? And that's technology that's known for just working. It just works, right? You don't have to. The MacBook talks to the iPhone. I remember my last Dell computer. Every time there was some sort of update, just everything went haywire. It's okay to do things that just work, right? That right now you may be using a Dell or a something. What was the computer? Dell, and I had two computers. And like anytime there's some kind of update, and or this real, and then the security updates, right? You needed to have Norton antivirus. You needed to have all these antivirus protections, which you don't need with Apple products, I don't think, right? Uh, it's okay to move to something that's just going to work easier, right? Sometimes you just want things to work. And that's what I want for you. Okay, we're doing good. Okay. I want things to just work for you. Okay? Yeah, Tennille says people always ask her about safety. She's like, I live in Baltimore. It's really funny when I hardly ever have anybody ask me the safety question who lives in, who's like, what's the place I think is probably very safe for Black people? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I've never had anybody ask that question and be like, well, it might be a little more dangerous than what you're used to. It's never that. It's always like, girl, please. Cleveland, leave. Leave. Air quality is a good point that we hardly ever talk about. Air quality. Yeah, you want to be able to breathe. Especially if you have some sort of condition where poor air quality is going to cause you problems. Look into these things. Okay. Bear Lux. I told someone Cartagena was safer than Greenwood, Indiana, with mass shootings and shootings, period. Yeah, it sounds wrong, but it's right. Some countries, some cities have had a real like overhaul, a de-violencing. Some cities that were violent. There are some cities that were very violent in the world that are no longer very violent. The whole country of El Salvador was a very violent country, very violent place to be. No longer, right? Now safer. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Brittany, I always said I wanted to retire in the Caribbean. In the Caribbean, and I've not been to a lot of the Caribbean, okay? But there are places in the Caribbean where you can go and things just work. Things are just easy. Things are simple. And some Caribbean countries have a clear path to residency. It may cost, it may not be for you. It depends on your, right? They're very money centered. They're very economic focused, right? So it may not work for you today. You may need to figure out how to get the money to move to the Caribbean because some of their residency requirements are expensive. But could very well be worth it if it's a place you're going to love. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So that's it. Remember that Rashida is going to talk about Rashida is going to recap. Let me get that link again. Rashida is going to recap the Exodus Summit Marrakesh meetup on her YouTube channel tomorrow at 5 p.m. East. No, 5 p.m. my time, noon Eastern time. Okay, so I'm going to give you the link now, so that you can have it, so that you can click on the link, share, copy, so that you can click on the link and get that notification when it's go time. I think she made hers for today. It's supposed to be tomorrow. Yeah, she's coaching right now, so I'm not going to bother her. I think she'll be able to reschedule it. It's supposed to be tomorrow, not today. I didn't notice that the first time. I'm going to put it in here. Okay, so go ahead and click the link so that you can hear all about the Exodus Summit meetup in Marrakesh, where we had 100 Black women come to Morocco and do luxury desert things and fun time city things and shopping and all of that, and more importantly, getting to know each other and spending time together with women who are like you, right? Like-minded women, with women who are into the things that you're into, ease and living abroad and taking career breaks and sabbaticals and all of that. All right, so if you want to hear about that, which you will, okay, you're going to want to hear the recap. Make sure that you click the link and hit notify me. And then also remember that she's going to reschedule it. It's supposed to be tomorrow at noon Eastern time. I think right now it says today, unless I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay? Okay. All right. And remember, it's okay. Easy is okay. My parting words for you. Easy is okay. All right? You deserve. You deserve. Easy is okay. And then one more thing, yes. So Gigi reminds me. So Gigi says, I saw the pics and they're beautiful. Thank you. Go ahead and follow Exodus Summit on Instagram so that you can see our photos and our stuff. You'll want to follow Exodus Summit so that you'll see the pictures from the meetup. And you may just want to look at the Exodus Summit hashtag and stuff to see other women from the meetup, to see what they're sharing. Exodus Summit. Okay, follow Exodus Summit on Instagram. My Instagram, my personal Instagram is Vicarious, so you can follow us both places. Okay? Yes, we're worthy. We're worthy. Okay? If white women can have it, you can have it. Okay, friends. Thank you very much for hanging out. Thank you very much for your patience with the live stream. Maybe next time I do a live stream, it'll work. Okay. Thank you very much for your patience. We're leaving out of Morocco very soon, and we've had a wonderful time in the Riyadh. I'll show it to you again. Let's see. How do I do this? I did it before and it worked. We had a wonderful time in our Riyadh in Morocco. Um, and I hope that you're having a wonderful weekend, a wonderful Saturday, wherever you are. Let's see. I'll be flying on during Rashida's live stream tomorrow. I'll be in the air, but hopefully I'll have internet on the plane and I'll be able to be in the chat to hear the recap from Rashida and from the other women who were in the meetup. Okay, friends. Thanks so much. I'll see you again soon. And yeah, Auntie Lou says hit the like button. Yeah, please hit the like button on your way out. I'll see you soon. Bye, friends. Oh, one more thing. Thank you very much for being so wonderful to Francis, who took over on the channel last week. I'm still watching it. Okay, we've been busy. Okay, I've been busy. So I haven't had a chance to finish Francis's video, but I've seen at least half of it. Thank you very much for taking such good care of the guests when we have guests on this channel. All right, and thank you to Nirel for moderating. Okay, bye, friends.